Hi everyone, I'm Syed Happydiq. For today's program, we will discuss more about the culture from the different countries. Today we invite three different celebrities from three different countries. So first we have Pak Izzul from Indonesia, then we have Kim Fanat from Busan, Korea, right? And then we have Catherine from Germany. Okay, first, what is the food that your people usually eat during their breakfast in Germany?
Well, in my opinion, the most common food to eat by Germans during breakfast are bread rolls with various spread or toppings. Some prefer to eat German breakfast with German sausage and cheese on top of the bread. Potato pancakes are also a famous option to eat during breakfast.
What are your views on the Oktoberfest in Germany? As I know, the Oktoberfest is very famous, right, in Germany? So can you give your opinion?
I think Oktoberfest is one of the most important festivals in Germany. The festival is significant to celebrate the Bavarian culture. The majority of people who attended the festival will wear traditional Bavarian attire. There were over 7 million people who attended the festival in 2019. Sadly, we couldn't celebrate Oktoberfest because it was cancelled last year and this year because of the ongoing pandemic.
Lastly, I want to ask you if I want to visit Germany one day, and I want to visit the castle in the Germany. Which castle you prefer? Which castle is the well-known and the most famous castle in Germany?
I believe Neuschwanstein Castle is the most popular castle in Germany. Neuschwanstein means new swanstone. Over 1.5 million visitors come to see this castle every year. In fact, it is one of the most visited castles in the world. I myself visited it few times, yet the view always mesmerized me. It is an idyllic castle that looks like straight from fairy tale. You should visit it once you come to Germany.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. Then we have Kim Fanat. First, in Korea, which Kpop band is the most famous in Korea?
So, my most favorite worldwide K-pop band is Bangtan Boys, which is more well known as BTS. So, the main reason why I like BTS the most, it is because the message that they give is unlike other artists. Other artists mostly talk about breakups and love, but BTS, their songs mostly are about self-love, and they believe true love starts with self-love. And it is true, all true love starts with self-love, which is we love ourselves first. So that's why I love BTS the most.
Kimbap or Jampang? Which is the best or the more delicious one? Can you give your opinion on that food?
For me, I would more prefer with jampong. So jampong is a Korean Chinese dishes which is so delicious and so easy to make at home. And jampong is served with lots of seafood that you can put it as many as you like, and it's served with a very spicy gravy and lots of noodles. So it has so many tastes in it. It's savory, it's flavory, it's sweety, it's salty. That's why I love campur.
In Korea, where is your best place you have best place you have visit, and why you will think the place is good and should be visit? Can you give your reason and your view about your answers?
My most favorite place to travel in Korea is Jeju Island, which only took 1 hour and a half from capital city of Seoul to arrive at Jeju Islands. Jeju Island is a very famous place to travel because it has lots of breathtaking views and hundreds of unique attractions. So, for example, I chose Halasan National Park, which is have a very beautiful scenery to take photos, and it also have refreshing scenery, so you can keep your mind from other problems and you can release tension at there. So that's why I love Jeju Island.
Thank you, Kim Fanat. Finally, I want to ask Pak Izzul. Hi, Pak Izzul. Welcome to this program. Okay, Pak Izzul. First, in your opinion, what is the difference between Indonesia culture and the culture in Europe?
Thank you for asking me that question. If you haven't been before in any ASEAN country, maybe after you come to Indonesia, you will have slight culture shock. The culture in Indonesia is very different from in Europe. Most Indonesian people are indirect when they communicate, so as not to offend others. The same is expected when you communicate, as even loud voices can be misconstrued as shouting, which can be a real cause of shame. So it is better to highlight any issues privately and softly during your tour of Indonesia. Much of the language is communicated non-verbally, so pay attention to body language. This is an important part of the culture.
Okay, the second one is what is the difference between the rural area in Indonesia and the urban area?
For the second question, rural areas in Indonesia have their own way of life. The rules that might apply in rural areas might be a little bit different than the rules that apply in urban areas. Indonesia has very big rural areas. Basically, people who live in rural areas in Indonesia are considered have better kinship compared to people who live in urban areas.
Okay, last one, Pak Izzul. I want to ask you, what is your favorite food in Indonesia? Okay, Pak Izzul, can you give your answer?
And for the last question, my favorite food in Indonesia is of course bakso. Bakso can be found all across Indonesia, from street vendors to high-class restaurants. Along with soto and satay, bakso is one of the most popular street food in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you, Pak Izzul, for your sharing and your opinion for these questions. Thank you, Kim Fanat, Pak Izzul, Katin, for your opinion, your sharing about your experience, about your culture in your countries. I'm very glad and honored to be able to invite you to this program, and I want to say thank you to all the audiences that watching this program. See you next letter. Thank you. Goodbye.